captured his 39th national career win during the 2008 season. This raceway holds some memories for you, doesn't it?
Absolutely. That trophy at the end of Sunday afternoon, that's what we're interested in with the ACDelco race going on. And the ACDelco Cobalt is just one big ACDelco family here.
Yeah, this is an ACDelco race here at the ACDelco Gatornationals.
This would be a good one to win, yeah.
This would be a good one to win. That's right, because you were runner-up to your dad at this event in '99 and won your first Gatornationals in 2003 with your whole family here to witness it, right? How special was that victory for you?
Oh, 2003 was a great year. I think I ran Jaggy in the semifinals and Greg Anderson in the semifinals and Jaggy in the final, and I drove well that race. I had some good lights. You know, to go down to that finish line and turn that win light on, it was just a huge day. All three of my kids were here and my wife, and since then it's just kind of dried up though. I don't know what's happened, but we had a great day today. Qualified number 4 out there and made a spectacular run this morning and just kind of went over the limit this afternoon, but we're really looking forward to tomorrow.
Please tell us about that first-class education that you received from your dad.
He asked me back in 1981 if I wanted to work on race cars or go to college, and I think I told him to order me a set of 30-32 pants and a uniform, so that's what we did. So
you worked your way up through the whole team?
Yeah, I did pretty much everything, you know, from sweeping floors and cleaning parts to building engines and driving the truck. I, you know, got my CDL and, you know, started from the ground up. So I still run the dyno at the shop back in Sugar Hill, and we run a crew of like 12 people to keep the 2 cars running, and it's been fun. The first race in '93, actually we had a 2-car team back in 1991. Scott Jeffreyon drove, and then in 1992 Don Beverly drove, which we called the Team 2-car. In 1993 we were testing in Houston prior to the Winter Nationals, the first race of the season, and I drove the Team 2 Don Beverly car out there and actually made the quickest pass in pro stock history at the time, so kind of got my feet wet there, got me all excited. Well, I ran that race that weekend and did well and showed up at Pomona, and we borrowed a car from Jerry Haas. I borrowed an engine from Dad. We put it all together. We qualified 15th. I won the first 2 rounds. We went to the semifinals, came out of that race in 3rd place. So we got to Phoenix, and that was the second race. Here I am, 3rd in points, and I have no race car to drive. Well, Jerry didn't want me to drive his car at that race, and so I borrowed a car from the Scribner brothers, qualified number 3 at that race. Went into the second round, had to run Scott Jeffreyon, and looking through the window net to see the tree, he actually red lighted, and he had just beat me the week before, so I was all disgusted. Got down to the finish line, wasn't thinking about really getting the parachutes out. All of a sudden, here I am at Phoenix, and you go under the Goodyear Bridge, and I'm reaching for the parachute, and nothing's happening. I got on the brakes too hard, and the second race I crashed. Yeah, it was ugly.
Whoops.
I've been on, they walked away plenty of times, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So we still went to the second round there, went into Gainesville, still 3rd in points, borrowed a car from Gary Shamiri. Long story short, I drove 7 different cars that year and finished 2nd in the world.
You're on actually a pretty impressive streak, capturing at least 1 race every year since '95. That happens to be the longest current streak in NHRA Pro Stock and the 2nd among all professional drivers. What's your secret to success?
You know, we had a big dry spell there too in 2001 to 2002. I won the first race at the Winter Nationals in 2001. Didn't win another race for 46 races. The last race of 2002 we won again, and that was huge right there. And you know, it's been kind of exciting, even though you don't think about it until it's done, until you can win that round, win that race, the 4 rounds on Sunday, and say, wow, I won another race this year. You know, there was a couple years that we only won 1 race per year, and you know, there was, you know, 4 or 5 years that went on like that. You got a little luck involved. You know, you work your butt off, and you sweat, and you turn wrenches, and you try and make more horsepower than everybody else, and you try and make better runs than everybody else. But there's a lot of good teams out here that you're competing against, and you know, to win one of these races is just huge nowadays.
You're also the first driver in pro stock history to run in the 6-second zone, right?
You got a lot of information there, don't you?
We do our research. You want to tell us about that race?
1994, Englishtown, New Jersey. now they have it where they have you paired up, and you got to run in a certain position based on points, based on qualifying. At that time, you could go up and run at any time you wanted or any position in the session. And night qualifying run at Englishtown, I remember rolling into that race on Thursday, and it was cold, there was hail coming down, you had a high barometric pressure, nobody had run in the 6-second zone, and it was, you know, if it dried up, quit raining, and cleared up, we knew that somebody had the shot to run 6 seconds back in New Jersey. And we made a terrible run the first session, came back, it was like an 8 o'clock session that night, and there being 30 plus pro stockers there, it took like 40 minutes to run the session, so I waited till the end, until the air got absolutely the best it could get. And I think there was only 2 or 3 pair of cars behind me, but when I let the clutch out, I was driving a Cutlass at the time, it had the wheels in the air, it was a smooth run, it was absolutely flawless, and I think I out-qualified the field by like 2 or 3 hundredths at that point. So Dad was swinging for the 6-second club, Darrell Alderman, Scott Jeffrey on, everybody was pitching their best, and I was a little lucky there too.
You're the lucky one.
Yeah, exactly.
The lucky one. Racing runs in your family, obviously, but if you weren't drag racing, what would you be doing?
Oh, I'd probably learn how to take up golf or something.
Wouldn't we all?
A lot less overhead. I probably wouldn't have half the fun though.
How many times did you run with Bob Glidden?
I think Bob ran up until, was it 1998 maybe? Or 95? I raced him at the first race. First race I was ever in at the Winter Nationals. Yeah, I ran him second round. And in fact, that was kind of ironic that I had to run my team car, Don Beverly, first round. I qualified 15th, he qualified second. And I left on him by like 3 or 4 hundredths, and I ran 200 slower, and I beat him to the finish line. So here I am putting out my team car, and then I had to run Glidden second round. He was a multi-million-time world champion, and I left on him and never looked back. So I won that round, then I had to run Jeffrey on in the semifinals, and that was my first race. So yeah, he was. Glidden was on top of his game when he was winning, that's for sure.
Times have you crashed?
Oh, a couple, yeah. I was hard on equipment. See, I never drove anything. I didn't drive no super gassers or super stock or anything. I just went right into pro stock, both feet. And I had a lot to learn, that's for sure.
What was your most memorable race?
You know, they're all special in a certain way. You know, it's always good to win in Las Vegas, and it's always good to win the U.S. Nationals. You know, probably winning the U.S. Nationals would have to be the biggest. It's been a while. 1976 was the first year that we came here, and we lived in Minnesota. I lived there for 18 years and graduated from high school there, and went racing, you know, right after that, moved to Atlanta, Georgia. But, you know, to come here in 1976 from, you know, shoveling snow and the cold up there to hit that Florida state line and see the oranges and grapefruits and all that stuff and feel the sunshine, this place is just awesome to race at.